Yeah. Yeah, hold on. I got to make sure that these work today. Can y'all hear him?
Yeah, we can hear it.
Hey, so now I'm producing today, John. What's going on, everybody? Cowboys Collective, episode 22. We are live and kicking. AOC, John Machota, Law Nation. Now, a few housekeeping notes because I get smacked in the back of the head every pre-show. Guys, make sure that you guys are downloading Spotify and Apple. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can listen to the Cowboys Collective. We're really trying to take this thing to the next level. You have a great creator in AOC. You have a great creator in Law Nation. You have the one and only John Machota. You're not going to get this high level conversation.
You ain't going to give yourself no
else.
credit. You got the draft extraordinaire, Foots the King.
Hey, AOC, I'm working on my quarterback skills, man. I'm giving folks flowers, man. And so, listen, guys, make sure that you guys are listening to this on the way to work. Sending this around to family members because these conversations actually really are good. On the listen back, it's like, dang, did I really say that? Was that so? Anyway, we got a loaded show for you guys today. We're gonna be talking about the roster and how
Egg Smasher.
We got to no. Well, you know what? That came in. I was like, it's so crazy. Hey, AOC, the Sadiq Charles signing happening. We did sign Sadiq Charles. I didn't even come to the chat. Nobody put it in the chat.
I just know when the news happened, John was probably shaking his head like, I just know those guys are probably so
you guys
excited.
Are easily
right
impressed. You know, John.
Hey, John, we got Sadiq Charles in the chat.
and so we got a load of what we're actually going to be going through. He said Sadiq Charles in the chase. Stupid.
We do have a Sadiq.
So you got a Sadiq.
Shout out Sadiq, man.
So what we'll do is we got a good one today, guys. We're going to go through the offensive side of the depth chart, player by player. Talk about how could we improve, or are we good? Do we need to touch on them in the draft, and do we need to upgrade? And so this will be a fun one. But before we do, as always, John Machota, what are you hearing? We did sign Sadiq Charles. How you feel about that? What's the latest news coming from the Star?
Yeah, it's fine. They're throwing bodies at the guard position for sure. I'm fine with it because, as we've talked about on here many a times, no one's going to be that excited if they used a first-round pick on an offensive lineman. And so let these moves happen so that you don't have to even be thinking about that. And,
Amen.
And they shouldn't be, to be honest with you. I mean, with what they've done in the offseason so far, who they've hired as their head coach, everything points to them adding an impact player on offense, if not at 12 and 44. So, it's a solid signing just because we don't know, where he's at just because he retired last year and didn't play, but he was a starting caliber player and he's a guard. And so obviously they have their answer at left guard with Tyler Smith. So now it's all about that right guard spot, and it maybe it is him. Maybe it's Rob Jones. Maybe it's Brock Hoffman. Maybe it's TJ Bass. But at least you have several different players you can throw at that, figure that thing out there with the new coaching staff. And so I would say from a Cowboys news perspective, that's the only thing really new that's going on right now outside of, obviously you guys have seen there's been name surfacing of, who they've been bringing in for their 30 visits. And so there's probably about 15, 20 names of those that have been out there, especially. And then you add in all the guys with the Dallas day. So it gives you a little bit of an understanding. And then with me working the Athletic, is always a big day every year because that's when the Dane Brugler's The Beast comes out, which is, I think, the best draft, magazine website thing that you can find out there. And so a lot of good information in there. So it's all draft now going forward. And I don't think that there's anything that's changed to think that anything differently than what we've been saying, where wide receiver, running back, that should be the things that they're looking at in these early parts of the draft.
No doubt.
Yeah. Anybody got anything before I go?
Hell yeah, I got something. Hey, man, y'all got to cut. First of all, we chose a terrible night to do this because Luka about to go crazy on the Mavericks in about 30 minutes. But second of all, y'all got to lead the offensive line in the first round thing along, man. We literally got 14 offensive linemen on the roster, man. 14 offensive linemen rostered right now. So they're going to have to cut a substantial amount of guys for them to even be able to go into the season. They're only going to go into the season with about 9 or 10 guys on the offensive line. So why would you add a first-round rookie to that log jam that you already have? You have 3 or 4 positions that are in much more dire straits than offensive line. Let's leave it alone. Sadiq Charles, very interesting pick. Can Clayton Adams do a Will Hernandez number on a Sadiq Charles type. If you really look at Sadiq Charles film, the reason that they got him is because what does Clayton Adams and them guys want to do with the running game? A lot of pin and pull action. Sadiq Charles is amazing moving laterally, bro. That's probably
physically
one of his
aggressive. And if you notice the size, AOC is bigger. Pause is necessary.
No pause. Take it. Just take it.
Well, take it. Well, I'll tell you guys. If you look at it from this particular aspect of it, Brock Hoffman, yes, he's 305, right? These guys, Rob Jones is 335. Sadiq Charles is 325, 330. 6'3", 6'4". So we attacking a certain mindset. Look, if you guys really listen to what Shotty says, he's looking for physicality. He wanted us to be fast, physical, with tempo, right? Yep. And that's just his philosophy. And now Clayton Adams going to add in a little bit more spice. This is what I would do for those who banging the table for an offensive lineman. There will be a chance to get an offensive lineman after the draft when another team drafts an offensive lineman, and we still have $37 to $38 million to spend, and we can go pick up a veteran guy to add to. But right now, it's the time for the Cowboys to get a skilled player, a playmaker, someone who can score touchdowns. Just like what John said a few weeks ago, someone that if you are a head coach of the Cowboys, what will be your staple piece, your mantelpiece of who's the first person you draft under your administration, So those are the things that we look for out of this 2025 draft. And getting his toy.
And I think that, man, these moves, we've seen enough moves now under the Schottenheimer regime, which we never talked about this, but man, Shotty made it very clear during his 33-minute interview. He said that there's been times where he has overruled the front office, been like, hey, man, no, this is what we need to do as far as the free agents we need to go out there and get. So Shotty's the one making these decisions. We've seen one very, very clear and distinct trend. They want giant athletes. So when it comes to looking at the draft and projecting out guys that they may draft, if it's a small, diminutive guy, you might as well take him off your board, bro. Because across the board, they're not going below 6 foot, y'all. They're not. Even if you look at their draft visits, all those guys outside of the two running backs are 6 foot and taller.
Oh, they're not going small. Looked at it from that aspect of it, AOC. I didn't think of it that way.
Hey, man, you know how I do, man. You know how I get down like that. I get down. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Fitz.
And I mean, even with Tet, when we'll talk about it, but being big body, you get what I'm saying? So, all right, let's do this, guys. And I'll say this. Another thing that I want to say is we talk about Clayton Adams. What about Connor Riley? Coaching has to happen. I think that we all sat here last year and said, you know what, man, Mike Solari, what was he really doing? I can tell you this. These coaches don't know each other, but they're all known for developing and cleaning guys up and getting guys better. And I know Cooper Beebe, he's basically Cooper Beebe and his dad came out and said, I wouldn't be where I am now if it wasn't for Connor Riley. So I think that you bring in a Sadiq Charles, you bring in even a Robert Jones. Somebody's going to win that right guard position.
Those are two guys that were starters. Those are two starting NFL.
Jones started every game last year, by the way.
Man. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And played in an intricate system with Mike McDaniel.
You got a real competition right there between three guys who are starting level right guards. Essentially.
What round was Rob drafted?
He was like an earlier pick, wasn't he?
I think it was like a second round pick.
Something like that, second or third.
So technically, the Cowboys got 4 offensive linemen that was in the top 100, right? Basically.
Yeah.
I mean, that's enough right there for those who banging on the table. You got 4 guys that's in the top 100, and I don't know what Sadiq. He could be 5th, but I don't know what.
Nah, he was in the 4th round. Sadiq was in 4th round.
So
the other thing with me on the whole offensive line thing is like, if you're telling me that the number 2 receiver, take this back 3 or 4 years. If you're telling me the number 2 receiver is Amari Cooper, and their running back is Tony Pollard, and there's a couple other Trayvon Diggs is healthy. I can be like, hey, yeah, you could use another offensive line. Exactly, there's just too many other spots where I'm you can get an offensive lineman in a premium spot next year, but you gotta. And also, I don't think that you signed some of those guys that they did, including today. If you really were like, well, let's go
throwing bodies. Yeah, throwing bodies, John, at the position. So, all right, let's do this. We're gonna go through a complete look at the offensive side of the ball. because that is the most polarizing side of the ball. Let's be honest. We want weapons. The chat wants weapons. We've kind of banged that table.
We want weapons. We want weapons.
We want weapons.
Here we go. Want weapons. Come on, y'all.
Now, AOC got on me, but I'm just going to start at the top.
Yeah, here you go, man.
Will Greer.
Supposed to be having those relapses, man.
Will Greer, Joe Milton, Dak Prescott. I'm going to start with John Machota. John, how do you feel about the room? Would you upgrade it in the draft? Any other concerns? And then we'll go around the table.
Yeah, similar to what I said about offensive line. Yeah, could you add another quarterback in like the late rounds or something as undrafted guy? Sure, go for it. But there's too many other needs to even care about spending a high pick or even a mid-round pick on a backup quarterback. You brought in Milton. Greer clearly is a guy that knows what they're going to want. And then if you want to bring in another camp arm that could maybe impress when you're out in Oxnard, sure, go for it. But it should not be one of your premium picks. You should be good with where you are at quarterback.
Law?
Yes, I think that in the quarterback room, we should be good for where we at. Thank God that we did get a Joe Milton, so we won't have to worry about Quentin Ewers here, if possible. I will say this. Training camp, Oxnard and beyond, it's going to be very exciting to see someone throw a 95-yarder. I hope. Well, John, where the wind is blowing, you don't think he can throw one, right?
I mean, if anybody can, I would think it probably would be him.
It'd probably be Joe.
Yeah. With the wind, not against it, huh?
Accurately. Is it going to go to the intended receiver? Is it going to hit? Is it going to hit somebody?
It's going to hit AOC in the stands,
right.
or in the words of the
look at AOC
Michael Irvin. Look, I hate to say this, AOC, but Joe Milton going to be the most exciting guy at the camp because you know how that's how it goes. He's going to be the guy that can turn the backward flips, the 6'5".
Hey man, I ain't the one pregnant with this man's second child. I'm cool. I mean, I'm perfectly fine with Joe Milton giving us good highlights. I'm cool with that.
You guys need to stop. You guys need to stop settling because I'm thinking the highlights are going to come from that trade up and getting Travis Hunter, but we'll see.
Ooh, I like it, John.
Also, by the way, I don't think his highlights would top anything that Ted McMillan did either.
Yeah, we'll talk about the receiver room because I got high level thoughts.
Because here's the whole thing: the early in camp is that you don't have pads on, and you don't have pads on, and then also you don't have safety help over the top once the pads do come on. So it's always such a great opportunity for the receivers to show out. I mean, we've seen it every single year. I was bored waiting for Jerry at the combine, killing time. And I went down a whole list of John Vea Johnson types that every year there's somebody that tears it up early in camp. So the type of mossing that Ted McMillan would be doing early in camp, believe me, that would be the one that would be getting all the eyeballs.
Oh, yeah, he'll be getting a lot of those. You remember...
Guess what? No, guess what? Guess what? Guess what if we got Ted McMillan or Travis Hunter? Guess what? Joe Milton wouldn't be throwing a damn thing to them because they'd be on the first team. Joe Milton be throwing tutties and bombs to Tolbert and Brooks. He wouldn't be no Hunter or no Ted. Yeah.
Brian Schottenheimer.
Hey, before AOC goes, AOC actually made a couple good points about how Brian Schottenheimer he's put his stamp on his team in a great way. And I will play these eyes. I will take these eyes right now, man.
I might go have to put some money aside for this one.
That's a great bet, especially with the healthy the way that they've attacked free agency. Like people, I gotta give AOC credit. The dude, he can sell water to a well, man. And I listen, I'm in draft world. Listen, Dane Brugler dropped, but John, I've been dropping my rankings too. Where the love for my low rankings that I write on my piece of paper. What about Foots in the draft?
Get that bug into 2025 condition and take it off that damn loose leaf paper that you uploaded.
No.
I can't read that chicken scratch once.
Hey, AOC, I'm old school. I get AOC. I'm actually doing the work. These dudes ain't. I'm gonna stop. These dudes ain't doing the work.
You need to fax it to everybody.
I mean, I'm serious though. I really do like this bet because if the Cowboys have a bounce back year, let's say Dak stays healthy all year, that puts them in a position to be, let's say win 9-10 games. They make the playoffs. Schottenheimer will get a lot of credit because of the way things went last year, and then also I do think the expectations on the outside are a lot of people are like, oh, we already know who Brian Schottenheimer is. He's been an assistant for a long time. So there aren't those high expectations that you might have if you bring in a former like Super Bowl winning head coach like a Mike McCarthy. And so if
just say it, John. Just say it. They think he's going to be ass. They think he's going to be ass. They think he's going to be ass as a head coach. Just say it. That's what they really want to say.
Yeah. So
the national media do that.
Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, so he would be in that group of people that, you know, the expectations aren't that high. I think that something similar could be said about, you know, let's say Tampa Bay. So if he has a big year or the team plays well, I do see a lot of people, him being, I mean, Jason Garrett won Coach of the Year.
Wow, I forgot about that.
I'm trying to think of it. There's one worse than that, though. I'll think
Shotty gonna win Coach of the Year. I like that, John. I'm glad you just injected that into the ether because I'm about to pluck it, and we're gonna push that narrative. I'm pushing this narrative.
I'm telling you right now. What's his name won it too, and it's way worse. Gase, I think, did.
Adam Gase did win it.
Adam.
That's the dude that had the cocaine eyes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or it could be some steep competition if Duval, if that dude go down there and do some crazy stuff.
Not Boss Baby. Not Boss Baby.
You know he look like Boss Baby. We got a super chat. Huh?
Yeah, I was about to get to it. But so I'll let AOC go. Then we'll get to the super. Then I want to get to the other position group. So AOC quarterback.
Oh, y'all still want me to answer that?
Got to answer it, bro. I want you on record. Come on.
All right. Hey, man, look. We don't need no help in the quarterback room. And I will say this, bro. I would be very, very intrigued. And I don't want this to happen. Knock on wood, whatever the hell up in here. I don't want it to happen. But I would be very intrigued to see what Joe Milton look like, bro. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's very intrigued. As a Cowboys fan, taking my Dak fan cap off, like as a Cowboys fan, the Cowboys quarterback room is set up now to where I think that you can salvage the season just from a fan interest standpoint now. And I think that's the most important thing.
Straight up,
it's Matt Nagy,
John.
By the way. It wasn't Gase.
Matt
Nagy that won it.
Oh, okay.
Hey, sorry. Same thing. Continue.
And he was ass after that, too. So.
Same type, yeah. And I'm going to say this, though. That's a big step for AOC because I don't think anybody on this panel loves Dak more than AOC, but for him to say that is real. Like, you would, if this is how I would preface it. You do not feel like the season is over with Joe Milton, especially if he goes through the process. John is giving us all this great content. By the way, every video y'all see is going to be coming from John Machota, so you need to tap in with Cowboys Collective. He's going to be giving us all this great content. If he's throwing the ball well and, you know, let's say it is Ted or Golden, whoever, and it looks like a certain way. And we're like Dak, I don't think that Dak will miss a year, but it wouldn't be – I don't think anybody would be saying anything out of pocket to say Dak may miss a game or two. We don't want that. Like you said, knock on wood.
Let's go talk about it. We put it in the ether. We put it in. Move to the next position. We put it in the
Before
ether.
you move to the next position, John, what's your thoughts? Because I know you probably bumped into Dak out there at the start. What's your thoughts on Slim Dak?
Good one. Good one, Law.
Yeah, no, that's good for sure. I mean, I've seen those videos and stuff of him working out. And he's got an event on Friday, so we'll get some comments from him about the latest on where everything's at. He looks good, and that doesn't surprise me though, because this is always the time of year when he's working hard, and there's never really been a time where I didn't think that, you know, or he came into OTAs or minicamp out of shape or didn't do what he needed to do. So I don't think that is going to be a problem at all. But I still think even with things going in the good direction, I don't think that he's going to be a full go in OTAs and minicamp. I think they're going to, especially now with Milton too, you're going to have this new guy get some reps and get some extra work. They know what Dak can do. I don't think the last thing they want is Dak getting out there, taking the full amount of work, suffer some type of setback, and then all of a sudden now you're shutting them down until training camp and all that. Like, I don't think they want to do that. So
out of Milton. You're right.
He's in a good spot. Seems like everything's on track.
So I'm so glad that you brought this up.
He said we'll be Dak looking like Luka.
I saw that.
But you know what though? I'm a big runner, and I'm big on staying in shape. And like, I will give Dak that to be in shape, because Tony used to come looking crazy. And I will always say, I think that's why he's always hurt. And even still, like, Dak, the fact that he takes care of his body, that's why you can make this bet for Shotty, or because you can see a world where if Dak's healthy and you give him a real weapon and you have a real OC designing some things, that could be right back. like he's, you know what I mean? And honestly, I think he's going to take this year personal, and which is, I think he's going to take it personal. I think he's going to take Joe Milton there being personal, because I tell you this, it's nothing like seeing a guy, Law, you've been out there, you were an athlete, you guys have all been in competitive situations. If you looking at a dude that can throw 95 yards, you coming to practice like, dog.
And it built like Hercules. That man cut.
Hey, bro.
That man cut, bro.
He just can't hit water if he fell off a boat. That's the only thing.
But listen, hey, I'll tell you this. If you look at that Bills game, not saying that it means much, but if you watch that Mills game, he looked like a totally different. I covered him coming out of Tennessee. Right. I didn't have a draftable grade, like a 6th rounder on him. Bro, when I tell you, he looked like a different player. I'm talking about in the drop back game, stepping up, pushing through the pocket, hitting guys in rhythm.
You know who else gonna look like a different player, Foots?
Who's that?
Rain Dakota Prescott.
For sure.
Thinner, leaner,
I agree
and able to run again.
I watched every one of those snaps that he had in that game last week. Man, it's
different. I know, bro. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't want to say that.
And that's for anybody that wants to say like, oh, after the first series, everybody was resting their starters. That's cool. I'm saying I wasn't judging it on week 18. I was judging it on that's the first preseason game of the season. Like if he did that in the first preseason game, people would be like, damn, like the way he moved in the pocket, the way it's
the pocket for me, John.
The way he took care of the football, the way that when there was pressure around him, he wasn't nervous. He and it really, he looked like a player that guys, because like I watched it on the with the TV broadcast in there, because I wanted to hear what they were saying. Because I know when you get ready for a game like that, if you're a broadcaster, like you have to completely flip the script, because they know going into that game, everything's different. And the way they were even talking about how Milton was like, he was for them all season long. He was their scout team quarterback. So that was the first week that he got reps with the ones, because they knew he was going to play a lot. And he looked like a quarterback that had gotten the reps with the ones. Like he did not seem phased. I thought for sure that there was going to be at least 4 or 5 balls that he kind of sailed or made a bad decision on. And
nothing, John.
Nah, he looked good, man.
Like not one bad rep.
I watched it too. It looked good.
Hey, John, I'm gonna tell you this. And I got into it with somebody on Twitter when they said he didn't throw a touch. I'm like, bro, go watch every rep. Don't watch the highlight throws. He had a throw down the sideline where he rolled, stepped up, rolled, and put touch on it. The guy just didn't catch it.
Right.
So, I'm just saying, and like AOC said, nothing else is going to be interesting, right? He's gonna watch Dak. He chose to come here, guys. Just so we're clear, he wanted to come to Dallas.
They had better offers. The Patriots had better offers apparently, and they wanted to honor Joe Milton's request by sending them to Dallas. So,
and this goes to what AOC's been saying.
That's good stuff, y'all.
And this is what AOC's been saying. Competition everywhere. So look. This is why I wanted to
do the quarterback. Ain't no competition at court. Man, let's move to the next position.
Let's go.
We have spent way too much time right here.
Hey, John, this is why I did it, baby. Here we go. Real quick, Max and Millie dropped a 5. I'll answer this one real quick so we can get on to the next position group. Right. Matthew Golden, Tyleek Williams, or best division. And I like those, Max, and I appreciate that. I like that. I don't know if I would go. Right? Yeah, he's a defensive tackle. I don't know if they're going to address defensive tackle high this year because of the way the draft is and as far like just how deep this tackle class is. I don't know if they reach. I mean, you can get a guy like CJ West possibly in the 5th round. So I just don't know if they'll do that. I do believe running back and receiver is some type of iteration is the first 2. But thank you for that super, Max. Let's get to another super real quick, guys. Give us Golden and some fries. I'm not mad at that. And then Max dropped another one, Hampton or Alec A. Manor. So he drafted for us. Thank you, Max. I apprate you. Okay.
Manor and Jack Bill. You can get somebody better than that at 44.
I was about to say, yeah. I got some stuff planned for next week, guys, that we'll really talk about this this draft. All right, here we go. I'm gonna start with AOC. Right. AOC, you signed Javonte Williams, you signed Miles Sanders, you have Deuce Vaughn, you have Malik Davis. How do you feel about this room? Do you want to upgrade it in the draft?
Well, I feel like at least 2 of those dudes you just named, I hate to say it, but you ain't going to be on the Cowboys by the time the season starts, because they 100% probably going to draft a running back in this draft, and I would be surprised if they got another one late. I'm just saying, bro. So, yeah, they need to draft a running back within the first 2 rounds, bro. That's still super high up on my list. Got to get a running back within the first 2 rounds at the very latest, because I do feel like this is a running back class with about 20 really good backs. I still think you can find a starting running back in the 3rd. I do. It just depends on how the board falls and how many people actually start taking running backs in the 2nd. But I think you could find a starting quality running back in the 3rd that's better than any of the guys you have on your roster right now. So,
can I ask you something, AOC? How do you feel? Who do you feel is the most day one ready as far as like we had to start a game that's on our roster, not in the draft, on our roster, on our roster. Like we look at Javonte as a lead guy, AOC.
I'm actually kind of looking at Miles more. I'm looking at Miles more. Because I think Miles is a better receiver out the back. I think you could do more with Miles. Javonte, to me, is a short yardage type of guy right now until you see how healthy he is. Yeah. If he's healthy and he has his legs back under him, then it could be a conversation. But I think as it currently stands, I think Miles Sanders is probably the dude that will be starting right now.
Yeah.
You know what's so crazy about Miles, and I'll let you go, Law?
No doubt.
Man, he was really good and just fell off a route. Like, man,
he went to
happened.
Carolina. Carolina happened. Carolina happened.
Bad O-line. Bad O-line.
Carolina happened, bro.
But also, you know what's so funny? That's why, like, when people talk about these teams and who they're going to draft, I'm like, bro, do y'all look at their rosters? But go ahead, Law.
Yeah, bro. I think that, you look at Javonte and you look at Sanders, you probably look for a running back that's a blend of both of those guys. Yep. And that could be Omarion.
Yeah, there you go, Law.
He's a blend of both of those guys. So I think that could be the way the Cowboys look at it, especially in this draft. You don't want to say, oh, this is a deep running back class. Let's just go grab one in the 6th round. No, you don't do it that way. Go ahead at the tip of the draft. Go ahead and grab somebody that can be an impact, that can be an enforcer. And that's what I'm looking at. Omarion Hampton or Ashton Jeanty. If he's there, you go get him. Don't play around with your food, Cowboys. Get you a running back. Get your wide receiver. Don't wait too late in this draft and make some changes happen with this team.
Law, let me ask you a question before I let John go. If Ashton Jeanty starts to, let's say he gets to 8, Carolina, would you give up this year's 5th and next year's 2 to go up?
No. I would not do that.
No.
And the only reason why.
For Jeanty? I think I might. AOC.
I'm about to give y'all a name.
This year's 5th, AOC. Oh, we gonna fight. I want to fight.
Give y'all a name,
I want to fight, John. Let's go. Let's fight these folks, John. I would.
But the
AOC, I'm going up to get him, AOC. I can't believe you switching up on me like this.
That far
this is
up?
Crazy.
How much will it cost again?
No. So look, John, we're going from. I mean, Law, we're going from 12 to 8. So we're getting in Carolina spot. So the Saints can't touch him, the Bears can't touch him, and the San Fran can't touch him. Because what if he gets past the Raiders? Because the Raiders now need a corner. This year's 5th and next year's 2.
Would they take that?
Carolina needs picks, guys.
Nah, I don't know if they would take the
2nd in the field.
I don't know because you're only going up 4 spots.
We gave him.
I know, but you just did business. The top 10. You know, it's a
but you did business with them with Mingo, so you have a connection.
Here's why I'm saying no, because the biggest part about the running back position to me, I'm not looking for Saquon. Okay, I'm not looking for Saquon. I'm looking for a guy that's going to add explosion to this offense and can be a difference maker and be a home run hitter any given play, bro. And there's a guy I think you can get maybe 3rd round from Virginia Tech foots.
Tootin'.
Tut.
But he's a role player, AOC.
But that's okay. You got a committee of running backs. If you got Miles Sanders and Javonte, you could grind these guys down and use these other dudes to throw out there to take on these blocks and pass blocking situations, whatever it may be. And you could throw Tootin' out there after you done pounded on the other team for a full half, bro. That could be absolutely explosive. And I think that's what you're looking for with the offense, man. It's not like you're looking for a specific player or a specific type of player. You're looking for somebody that can fill a specific need. And the need is explosiveness.
Yeah.
Okay.
You gotta keep your seat. Just saying to keep your seat and just say to yourself, if Jeanty there, I will get him. But if not, if my running back, if they really love Omarion, you get him, and then you can still get Tut. You still get Tut or you get Tajay, or you can get Dalen Sampson. You can go get multiple running backs.
There's a lot of running backs.
Rashard Smith is one of my favorites in that area. The thing for me, and I actually, you know what? Let me let John go, and then John, how you feeling about the room? And then maybe that trade scenario.
I don't love the room right now. And so if Jeanty's anywhere close, I would move up a few picks if I had to. I like the no doubter that, hey, this would be the guy that you're giving the ball to for the next 5 years plus. The other guys can fill in, whoever that is, but I have my no doubter that's going to be on the field at most. Be great. And I know Hampton's gaining a lot of momentum, and obviously with the recent Mel Kiper mock draft, a lot of people look to that because Mel was probably the only one in on Tyler Smith to the Cowboys a couple years back. And so a lot of people give him a lot of credit because he obviously talks to probably some people that are in the final decision maker group. And so I'm fine with it. There's a part of me that thinks the longer that they wait, the more I'm concerned, because I don't think you can wait till day 3 to get your running back, because if you tell me you get like a 4th round guy then you just move him in that group with the guys they already have, then that's kind of like what you went into this season with. And I don't like that at all. I want a key guy that that you're going to build around. And if that's Hampton to them and he's the guy at 12, then he's the guy at 12. But the whole idea of just like, well, we got 3 guys, they all do something a little different. So, one game this guy, I don't like that at all.
Is it fair to say, I want to ask you this because you do a lot of evaluation and stuff. Is it fair to say that due to how deep this class is, that there's a lot of guys that could be taken in the 4th and 3rd that could potentially be like 2nd round type picks in other drafts in years where it's not this deep? Because I see a lot of dudes, bro, with the skill sets that I'm like, man, hey, like they could be in a discussion for top 3, top 4 type running back in any other draft class, bro.
So I'm gonna say this, AOC. The name you brought up is Tootin, right? Speed guy. If you're trying to
like small,
he's not really smaller. It's 3 names that you could possibly get in the 3rd back: Tootin, Brashard Smith, and I think Damian Martinez is gonna fly aboard. So I think he's gonna be gone earlier. The other thing is this too. To John. So here's the thing, AOC. We think these running backs will be there in the 5th, in the 4th, in the 3rd. Bro, that's a lot of picks. We've been there on, Saturday afternoon, John, and you like, dang, here goes another guy we like. Dang, here goes another, and then you like,
we did that last year. We did that last year watching the running backs fly off the board.
I think I get what you're saying, AOC. You're not wrong, because Tootin is a guy. But again, how many other teams are now saying we want to run the ball? We want to do this. Right. And so we have the luxury of having our quarterback. We have our line at least settled. Right. Shout out!
I like that trade. I wouldn't be mad at that trade, Foots. I'll take it back. I wouldn't be mad if they did that trade because
here's my why.
I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, here's my why. Here's my why. AOC. Break it down. Your why. I put my old school. AOC don't like it, but if you notice, it was Ashton Jeanty, and it was like 5 spaces before the next running back.
Yeah, I see.
I like Omarion Hampton a lot. I really do. I wouldn't be mad at Hampton in a trade back situation. But fellas, I'm telling you, you put Ashton Jeanty on this team. He didn't even get a chance to really open up as a pass catcher last year. Go look at him 2023 catching the football. You put Omarion Hampton on this team. Brian Schottenheimer you put Ashton Jeanty on this team. Schottenheimer can get back to, he can just call his style of game. He can. And you can supplement receiver with really a guy in the 2nd or 3rd and what you have. And you'll be fine because he's that type of workhorse. People say, and this is what I don't like. This is the argument I don't like, y'all. So when you're talking to people about this, why do people look at it and say he has wear and tear is a bad thing? No. The difference between him and Travion Henderson, who's my 2nd rated back, is Travion Henderson does have injury history. He hasn't made it through a full year. That's why they brought in Quinshon Judkins from Ole Miss. Ashton Jeanty has. He won't be getting that amount of carries and that volume of carries
at all.
He will be getting
probably 15, 17.
And his 15, AOC, you said it. You want somebody who can go yard. He can go yard. He can also give you power. He can also run outside zone, inside zone, gap scheme.
I'll say this. It depends on what they do between now and the draft. If they make 1 or 2 more moves to where I feel like they add a vet, like let's say they go get a veteran defensive tackle, right? They add a defensive tackle that makes me more comfortable with that position.
Right.
Then I wouldn't mind giving up a couple of picks to really make a move where you feel like you're getting a guy, right?
Yeah.
But right now, still, I feel like you kind of playing with fire a little bit, and you want to be able to throw as many bodies as you can at certain positions, man, and see if it's going to work. And I just don't want to be playing around with that draft compensation right now. So
no, you're right, and you absolutely right, because you get your D tackle some point here this cycle. Like I could definitely see a world where they go, the first 3 picks are offense, defense. Yep. Or offense, defense, offense. Yep. But I'm just with John. Like, give me the sure thing. Ashton Jeanty
John wants Travis Hunter. You ain't with John. John was firmly want Travis Hunter.
He wants Travis.
He said, move up.
John said, I'm putting all my chips.
He said, if I'm gonna go big, I'm going big.
Cowboys have been too boring for me for about 3 or 4 years now. It's time.
Did you guys imagine the stories written?
We're losing our minds over a guy switching to number 0 here. It's gotten so boring.
And bald heads. And bald heads.
I know. And bald heads, yeah.
And bald heads. Y'all some sickos too out there, man. That video went crazy, and I made a whole video about this man hairline. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Work.
Oh wow.
Oh, about the
yeah,
Mike and the bald head, man.
Some sickos, man. I appreciate y'all though.
Hey, here we go. All right, let's talk about the offensive line unit. We kind of hit on it, so I'll just go through the whole kit and caboodle, and I'll start with John, and we'll work our way down. Tyler Guyton, praying he makes a jump. Awesome Richards, Earl Bostic, Tyler Smith, future Hall of Famer, Robert Jones, Sadiq Charles now, Cooper Beebe, Dakota Shepley, Jack Anderson, the whole 9.
That's a lot of dudes, bro.
I know, exactly. You said 14. It's really 14.
It's 14
TJ Bass.
dudes, bro.
Still have Matt Walesko on the roster.
Yeah,
Nathan Thomas is interesting. Now I want to put a pin in him.
There's 4 dudes on the bench, man, that could potentially be starred. And then
we'll end with Terrence Steele. John, how do you feel about the room? This one's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, it's good enough for me, because I do think you can figure out some guys that whatever you got to do at right guard. The worst situation would be if you get, let's say, 5 games into the season and Guyton and Steele are both struggling, then you're really in trouble, because now you're looking at, you're like, man, who's going to be our tackles of the future?
Right.
Like, we don't think these are the guys, but I don't think that's going to happen. And with this new coaching staff, I mean, I think that they feel pretty good about these guys. At least that's what I've heard from them. So I think they got a lot of bodies. They got a lot of people to throw in there to figure out who's going to be their best 9 to 10 when they trim the roster down. I think there's enough there where you don't have to use a premium pick on the offensive line. So do I think it's a great offensive line? No. But I think it's good enough for right now, and it's good enough for this season. And hey, maybe a Nathan Thomas or maybe an Awesome Richards take another step, and you're like, hey, well, they got something here. If one of these tackles isn't playing well, we can put one of them in there. I've been surprised. I've said that many a times. I've been surprised that has not happened over the entire time Mike McCarthy's been head coach, because he had that happen to him quite a bit in Green Bay, where there was a 4th, 5th round pick guy that several of them that ended up having key roles, and that really hasn't happened here. So maybe that happens and it's solidified. But there's nothing there that I see as, well, that's a bigger hole than I see, like I said, at wide receiver, running back, and corner.
Absolutely.
The move could be on Terrence Steele if that's the situation. Could he be a cap casualty if that's the situation?
No.
I'm talking about Steele.
Oh, my bad. Not to cut you off, Law, but no. I don't know why people want to cut Steele.
No, I'm not saying that if he's
okay,
not, because he don't have any sponsors in the rooms. He's starting all the way over with a clean sheet of paper. So
who don't have any sponsors?
Terrence Steele, if he's
they coaches them already been his name's been the one that's been hottest out of all of the coaches.
Y'all got to let me finish my statement with this.
Go ahead. Sorry, right, Law.
What I'm saying is basically, if he don't pan out the way we think he should in the pass protection, and if they move on, because you got to move a spot with Awesome Richards. Tyler Guyton gonna get another year of showing us what he can do, but Awesome Richards, it's time for him to get playing time. If not, then we wasting talent. So they're gonna have to make a move some way, one way or another at Awesome Richards in this particular light. So that's the only reason why I mentioned Terrence Steele. I'm hoping that he can get back to the graces of what he did right before he got paid, and he will be the spotlight that we be looking at. Now, we do know about the right guard hole with the situation of Brock Hoffman, Robert Jones, what we talked about earlier. But that's an old wait and see, and I can't wait to see how this offensive line would look like down the stretch.
Right. And I think that's a good problem to have. I mean, that's a good point you brought up about Steele and Awesome Richards. And I think that if that's the scenario and Steele is just putrid, right? And he's unplayable, then that's when you do what everybody's been clamoring about. You let Awesome Richards play left tackle, which we've seen that he can do, and then you move Tyler Guyton to right tackle, which he should be more comfortable at doing, right? So I think that that's a good problem to have, and that's why I like the offensive line room. To answer the question that Foots asked us is, I think that you're too deep at every position. You're legitimately too deep with guys that are potentially full 17-game starting quality guys. Not Pro Bowlers, not all pros, but 17-game starters. You got Rob Jones, you got TJ Bass, you got Brock Hoffman, you got Sadiq Charles, you got Awesome Richards. That's 5 guys that's not even starters yet that you could look at and be like, hey, they could potentially be NFL starting quality guys.
Yeah.
So why keep adding to that? You know what I'm saying? It's too much. It's too much.
Yeah, definitely not to cut you off, Law. I've heard so much. No. I've heard so much, and even I probably was on that at one point, but I do remember, guys, coaching matters. I don't know if John, you can speak to him, man. I just want to know, like, what were they doing with these guys? Was there a plan? Everything that we've heard from Shotty, like Shotty's aced this offseason. Every time somebody tries to replace one of these guys in a question, or do we want to upgrade? Well, hold on. We got to put a plan in place for these guys. We got to put a plan in place for.
I got a perfect answer for you.
We got to put a plan in place for. I'm gonna tell y'all somebody who we're forgetting about. To me, is Nathan Thomas. Yeah. He's a big body that played tackle at Louisiana. He's gonna vow for some right guard reps, guys. I believe he can move people. He's physical. He played tackle already, so he has some type of footwork. Yeah. This is going to be a fun preseason to even watch that position group.
You know what the most exciting thing is, to play off of what you just said? The most exciting thing to me about what we're seeing right now, and John, I think this is why above like the moves aren't like anything that would get the casual fan excited, right? But if I'm looking at this and I'm looking at our guys doing what they said they were going to do for us, right? And I'm looking at the level of consistency. And then I look back and I look at the past couple of seasons and I'm like, man, if you look at what the front office was doing, that's why it was important that Shotty and Jerry them said that the front office, Will and Brian Schottenheimer were all aligned and they were all on the same page, because you can definitely tell by the way the team is moving. The acquisitions that they're making are aligning with what Schottenheimer said he wanted to do. He wanted to play more physical. He wanted to play a more grounded down style of offense. And the moves that they're making make sense with that. McCarthy, we kept asking this question. What was his play style? What was he trying to accomplish? And I don't think the front office knew. And that's why they were just getting guys. And some of the stuff wasn't working. Some of the stuff looked random. Some of it was like, why did you do that? It's because there was no clear plan. And like we keep asking, man, like we don't know any of the philosophies. There's no clear philosophy this team ran outside of super vanilla football and depending on plays to work perfectly as designed every time. Right. So I think that's the biggest difference, is we're seeing consistency from A to Z right now, and how they're moving reflects that, right? The type of players are getting the 6 foot and above, the 320s instead of the 300 offensive linemen. They're getting bigger, and everything they're doing is consistent. And that's why I'm excited, because I'm believing them, because they're building up that ethos with me right now, personally.
Come on with it. Yeah.
Man, that's a good one. Okay. I want to save receiver for last, so we're going to move on to the tight end room. And I'm going to start with AOC. Jake Ferguson, kind of up and down. Luke Schoonmaker, kind of up and down, had his moments. Brevin Spann-Ford, that didn't look like a fish out of water last year. Right. John Stevens had the injury, but we keep hoping and waiting, and maybe one day. And Princeton Fant, how are you feeling about this tight end room? And can we upgrade in the draft, or do you like what we have and they just need a battle, AOC?
Yes, we can upgrade in the draft, and I'm going to tell you this right now. Depending on how that board falls. Depending on how that board falls.
This is interesting.
Because there's a lot of people that feel like Tyler Warren is maybe a top 5 prospect overall in this draft.
Wow.
And depending on how that board falls and the type of tight end he is, because he's a receiving threat. He's a stretch the field, sure hands, athletic built tight end, but can also help you block, right? Can play that play style. Depending on how that board falls, I think getting a Tyler Warren could have the same type of impact on releasing CeeDee Lamb a little bit, being able to hold those safeties, being able to command more attention over the middle of the field. I think that can have the same type of impact as getting the viable number 2. So if you get Tech gone and then Golden's gone for some reason, right? Somebody trade up and snatch Golden right from in front of you, and Jeanty's gone already, and you really don't want to go O-line, and you're like, man, none of the defensive ends have gone yet, so I think I can snag one. I wouldn't be mad at Tyler Warren, bro. I think that he could make a similar impact as getting a receiver could make.
No doubt, man. That's a good notion right there.
That's good, AOC.
Mina Combs this week said that the Loveland kid and people lost their minds, from Michigan. What's his first name?
He's a receiver, Colston Loveland.
Colston Loveland. You like him? You like his tape?
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you who I like even better.
You don't like him at 12 though, do you?
No, I don't like either tight end at 12. I would like it a trade back, but AOC is not off. But I'm gonna tell y'all who I like. I like Arojo. And I like Mason Taylor from LSU, but he just was in the wrong scheme. But go ahead, Law.
No, I couldn't hear you because my internet was chopping up. What'd you say? Say that again.
No, so I like Loveland. I don't like either tight end at 12 because you had to show me the board. But I do like Mason Taylor and Elijah Rojo. I saw Elijah Rojo at the Senior Bowl. He was unguardable. He had a few focus drops, but Taylor is right there. So if you want that receiving threat, and like AOC saying, do they help you the same way that a receiver does and just lines up in line? And I do think that Shotty wants to run a lot of 12. So, yeah.
And Dak love his tight ends. Dak has always loved his tight ends.
John, what you got on this, man?
I mean,
damn, Law, you out of pocket, man. Why was you laughing just now, man?
No, I'm just saying.
I thought you was talking. I said Dak love his tight ends. Go ahead, John.
If they were in a little bit better position at some of these other spots, I can see that being a possibility. But just from the people I've talked to and I've heard, like they speak very highly of what they think of like Brevin Spanford and like Princeton Fan. So it's like even if you were out on, let's say, like Luke Schoonmaker and you're down on Ferguson and the season he had last year and that, like I just don't get the sense from them that there is down on that. And then the fact that we also talked about running back and didn't mention Hunter Lipke, like I don't see a way Hunter Lipke isn't on the team, whether you count him as a running back or a tight end. And so I don't see them keeping more than 4 tight ends. Then you throw in Lipke with whether you want to put him with the running back group or whatever. Again, when you ask Schottenheimer how he wants the team to be built, what he's looking for, one of the first things he always says is being physical. So I don't see a way that Lipke's not on the team. And I just think they have too many other holes to like really go after a tight end early. If they were, that would say a lot about what they think of the receiver group. Maybe that would be the only way I see that being possible is if they're just like, yeah, guys, we don't like Burden and McMillan and Golden and these guys as much as you do. We're going to lie and throw out the smoke screens. We'll bring these dudes in for 30 visits, but we really don't even like them that much. Then maybe the Warren thing makes some sense there. But I find it hard to believe that there isn't going to be a receiver that's there at 12 that they would like more than one of the tight ends.
I agree. I agree with that.
Before we get to this last one, guys, let's hit this last super chat. So, real quick though, Law, you out against? I'm with AOC. That laugh kind of made me feel like you done with tight ends, or what? How do you feel about you cool? You like what we got?
I like what we got. I think Lunda Wells is really banking on Brevin Spanford.
The only coach they kept, by the way.
Yeah, the only coach that they kept. And he speak very, like John said, he speak very highly of those tight end rooms. So I think that, we good with tight ends.
Okay, we're good with tight ends.
I think so too. But I was saying we can upgrade. That was a way we could. But
you can definitely upgrade.
I think Ferg is good enough. I do.
Does somebody want to take this one, or y'all want me to take this super chat from Blake?
Lincoln Blake said, "Isn't Richards the favorite over Guyton since he took over when Guyton was playing bad? Or do you think they're going to force Guyton to start since he's a first-round pick?" Well, you halfway answered your own question, and the other part of that answer was, man, you can't take nothing that Mike McCarthy and decisions he made last season and apply to what's about to happen this year. You heard Shotty. He said everybody's position was up for competition. So it ain't no telling what the line. If Richards is just playing better than Guyton all summer, then I would not be surprised at all if Shotty was like, "Nah, we gotta sit dude down." Yeah, I wouldn't, bro. I think Shotty's gonna put the best guys out there. I really do.
Right.
Can I real quick before we get to receivers? Did Guyton play Chaz?
He did not play that bad.
No, he didn't play that bad. Am I tripping?
No, people convinced. No, No, people
Talk about this, AOC.
People trust us. You know what I'm saying? They trust all their favorite media members and they outlets and stuff. And
they
there's some
trainers
there's some outlets out there that over exaggerated how bad Guyton was because they wanted to make sure that their original take about him was correct. Let's keep it a buck, man. And so now this perception has been correct. No, seriously.
No,
it's kind of effed up from Tyler Guyton, for real. Because now this perception has been created, bro.
He be rolling the gloves.
I don't care, bro. Now this perception, and if somebody's offended, that means the shoe fiddly fits.
No,
right?
it's real.
So
listen, I got into it with somebody. I got into it on a draft show with somebody about Guyton only because I'm with AOC. It's just Bush League to me, right? That before a guy plays a snap, he's not good.
You've decided his future. And so anything bad that he does, he gets a whole cup. Pop, see? Trash. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? It's like, bro, that's unfair, bro. Guyton was not that damn bad last year. He showed that he can play the position. His issues were a lot of coaching issues, man. He was getting too far on his jump sets and different stuff.
And usage.
Come on, man. So
That's
a lot
coaching.
of that was coaching, bro. So no, Guyton not that bad. Stop it.
Okay, this is a good one. Thank you, Lincoln Blake.
Yeah.
He also
He
also dealt with a lot of injuries that they weren't the type that would keep you out of games, but they kept him from practicing a bunch. Where I think that stunted some growth a little bit, just because that's when you're a rookie like that, you need to get as many reps as possible. Even if you're getting torched in practice, it's better to just be out there. And so if he and everything that I've heard about how he's been attacking the weight room and that, it sounds like it's all positive, but I know that was one of the issues last year's too, is that just his availability for practice. So as long as he has that stuff behind him, I don't get the sense that it's, I mean, let's be honest. We've seen like the Mozzie Smiths, the Taco Charlton.
He was not Mozzie Smith bad, bro.
Tristan Hill. He was not. Right away, you're just like, ooh, I don't know. Like he was not.
And they still gave him chances. And they still let them dudes continue to play, man. So there's no way they about to snatch Guyton up out of there.
If we really looking at the tea leaves, I think they would have addressed tackle in free agency if Guyton was that bad. Like, I think that they look at the film and say, we brought in 2 offensive line special. Y'all got to go look at Clayton Adams' O-lines. When he was Arizona. He didn't. I'm just talking about, like, think about this, AOC. The names he had, he didn't have big names on that O-line.
He didn't.
Arizona. And he got the best out of those guys. He turned Will Hernandez's career around. Because Will Hernandez was a bust in with the Giants. He was.
Sadiq Charles effect. Maybe we could get that out of Sadiq Charles. And Sadiq wasn't as bad as Will Hernandez was. So
Will was awful. You got something, Law?
No, I was just saying that I love to see like when it's like the D-Ware to Tyron Smith, right? And then from Tyron Smith to Michael Parsons. So now we're looking at Michael Parsons versus Tyler Guyton. I just think that should be every week or every game or every practice, I meant to say, there should be Tyler Guyton versus my guy Michael Parsons to sharpen and shaping his skills up even more. But he gonna be okay though,
bro. He gonna be all right. Let me just say this real quick, and I won't get on it too long with soapbox. Bro, left tackle is so hard to play. Like people in the chat box, people on Twitter, trainers, Duke Manyweather, whoever, they can say what they want, bro. But it's so hard. Like you got it. He had to go. Y'all didn't have to go block Myles Garrett game 1. He did. Yeah. That's not easy, bro. Like we just sit on the chat.
Game
bruh.
1.
Yeah, game 1, go block. You've only played right.
You've only played Rex.
You've only played tackle for 9 games ever. Hey, but by the way, go block, go keep that clean, and we'll give you a chip every once in a while. But go block Myles Garrett, like the best defensive end maybe ever. Come on, man, like stop it. So I just think that we need to. It just is kind of irresponsible. Okay, let's get to receivers.
Man, they
guys.
said Luka was crying out there. Oh Lord, come on with
man.
it.
Let's get to receivers so we can watch. Here we go, guys. This is going to be the headliner. Jalen Tolbert, Jonathan Mingo, as Lowe. So how you say Lowe? Mingo. CeeDee Lamb, Kevontae Turpin, Ryan Flanoy, Jalen Brooks, Kelvin Harmon, Seth Williams, Paris Campbell, and Jalen Cropper. Hey, gotta name
you
them all.
naming McDonald's employees, bro.
Jeff Williams.
Now, I'm only gonna say
Those
one
ain't even
thing.
real football players, bro. Hold on.
And I'm gonna start with John Machota. We got 300 people in the chat. Make sure you guys are checking this out on every podcast, running this back.
Come from?
And thank you, BetUS TV. We love you, John Machota. I'm gonna start with you, but I know this is gonna go crazy. I have a really good feeling about Jonathan Mingo. I went back and watched every one of his targets this year, John, and they were overthrows.
Come on,
he was open. He caught contested footballs. I got a different vibe between him and Jalen Tolbert. John, how are you feeling about the room? Do you want to upgrade in the draft? Do you want to let these guys compete? Talk to me, John.
Well, since they're keeping 22 offensive linemen, I think I would say that, well, I can't see, they're not going to keep more than 6 wide receivers. So I think I'm counting Turpin as one of those 6, even though he's technically also a returner. So I feel good about number 1, 3, 4, 5, and 6, but I still think they need a 2. I really do. And if one of those other guys, like, hey, Mingo steps up, Tolbert has this breakout season, Brooks, Paris Campbell, Turpin has like a year where you're like, wow, he's an outstanding receiver that we didn't even know that he could play at that level. That's all great. But it's still, you need another playmaker that you can count on that is number 2 level quality. And really, to be honest with you, if you take a guy at 12 at wide receiver, really you're thinking that he can be like a number 1 type of productive receiver. Now, of course, they have their one in CeeDee Lamb, but you're looking at a guy that he should step in and be your 2. But the upside there, like I think of with the Tet McMillan, is that he's potentially like another number 1 for you. And so that's why, with where they're drafting at and what's in this draft class and what's possible for them at 12, I just think a lot of it lines up where it makes a lot of sense to take a wide receiver at 12. So, yes, I don't think that they're awful at wide receiver, but I think that number 2 spot's missing.
No doubt.
AOC.
No doubt.
Man, you can let Law go first.
Okay, so what I would say is with Mingo, he's my dark horse in this, and I would say
you've been on Mingo, Law. You've been on Mingo.
But here's the thing: if we go draft a Tet, by the way, we can absolutely play true X, Y, and Z wide receivers because CD can still be your Z, and Mingo can be your Y, and Tet can be your X, Y receiver on the outside on the boundary. So that will be utilizing the fullness of your field. And I think that with Mingo, if we can get him to step up and just be, or the ball can be where he's supposed to be at, right? Because I saw that clip that you put together, AOC. I think that will play a lot for this team at the wide receiver court, even if he can just be where that ball is at.
Mm-hmm. I like it, man. I like, hey, y'all speaking my language. Now you're talking my language. Y'all taking my language, man. Jonathan Mingo, I told y'all I'm the official president of the Jonathan Mingo fan club. I think that he's going to have him a nice season next year. I think he's going to have like maybe a 600-700 yard type of season under Dak Prescott next year. Probably about 6-7 touchdowns to go along with that. I'm serious. And I think that he's going to emerge as your solidified 3. Right? I think that's what's going to happen next season. He's going to emerge as your solidified 3, and whoever you draft is going to be your 2. And so you got CD, your drafted guy, Mingo, and then you throw in Turpin in there where you need to, and then Tolbert's going to get his buddy snaps. You know what I'm saying? He's going to get snaps because he's friends with the QB. So I think that's what's going to end up happening ultimately, because just being realistic, bro, it's nothing. This is nothing against Tolbert, Brooks, any of those guys, man. There's a difference between a really good football player and a really good NFL player. I think that at receiver, we have a lot of really good football players. I don't know if we have anybody outside of a CD or a Mingo that can be a really good NFL player, right, at that position. And I think that's just kind of what it comes down to. Good football players, man. Y'all are good. Y'all are better than 99% of the damn nation. We get it. Yeah. But, bro, like, I just know what I'm seeing, bro. And Tolbert is not going to consistently give you that threat, man. He's not.
Yeah, and I actually did a little deep dive on Mingo too, and it's just like when he was in Carolina, Bryce just wasn't ready. And he had Frank Wright, and Frank Wright was fired, just like he was fired from the Colts, and so like I mean, they just didn't have a high level plan for him. I think AOC, can I please have a cabinet spot in the presidency,
Absolutely.
or can I?
Absolutely,
Can I? Because I'll tell you this. You know, we talked, and when I'm writing these reports and coming up with content for these the draft stuff and my whys. One thing I love about Ted is he's strong at the catch point. He's physical, and like I see that in Mingo. Yeah. I just don't like. This is like a little thing that I look at. Like, how do these guys take a tackle? AOC. Like, are they getting crushed? Do they have any yak ability? And with Mingo, he has some of that. He's a bigger body. He's also fast. Like he had a double move where he ran right past Quinyon Mitchell,
right past,
and Cooper just threw a lollipop. And so I believe that he may be your receiver 3 with whoever you draft, and I would be okay with that because. And I'll close it with this. And John, great article on The Athletic. If you guys don't have The Athletic, John writes for The Athletic. It's great. He wrote an article on Brian Schottenheimer. And so AOC.
Yeah, I need to read that. I seen that earlier too. I need to read
so while I will say he has aced the offseason, now Schottenheimer needs to ace coaching.
Absolutely.
And you're calling plays. I would rather, like Law said, have a true XZ, just had these guys in place. Yes, the pre-snap motion and getting guys involved and all that. But what if I have guys where I know what they'll give me? I know that CD's going to win the slot. I know that Mingo is going to consistently be physical, and whatever receiver I draft, whether it's Ted, whether it's Golden, I know that these 3 guys, these are my offense, and this is how the Bengals can put up 44 points a game because we know who Jamar Chase is. We know who their third option is, and we know who T. Higgins is. I don't know if I want. Yeah, right. So here's my everybody will say this, Law. Give me Turpin and find ways to get him involved. Bruh, that's a lot of thinking. You know what I mean? Like
that's a lot of thinking, bro. Real talk.
Yeah. Splash plays, man. But you can still utilize them, but you can't depend everything on it. But I like what you said, X, Y, and Z. Let's get back to
you
that.
said it, Law, and I'm with you.
Yeah, you said it. Yeah, you like what you said, Law.
I like what I said.
because guess what? The speeches are all good, AOC, but trust and believe. They go out here and go 0-4. I'm be looking at Brian Schottenheimer like, bro, what's going on with this offense? What, right, John? Like, you going to be looking at him like, maybe this is too much for him.
Oh, and then if that's the case, then the biggest story will be, I mean, as long as everyone's healthy, because obviously if there's key players hurt,
I'm going to have to go into hiding.
But if that's the case, then the biggest story will be, well, does Clayton Adams take over the offense, whereas Schottenheimer just worries about being the head coach? That you would just know, and that's not even just like locally. Fair. That will be like nationally. People will be talking like, "Oh, is this too much for being the head coach and the OC? Maybe he needs to just worry about being the head coach." And hey, who knows? Maybe that might end up being the best role for him, is just the head coach worried about building culture and the game plan and all of that stuff, and leaving the play calling to somebody else, but. Certainly, if you're in the position he's in right now, you want to be the one calling the plays. That's what every head coach that has an offensive background wants to do. They want to be the one calling the plays. So
exactly, precisely,
man.
There he is.
But he also should have some advantages too, because this is new personnel for him that he wasn't calling the plays before. So it is because he coached with Mike McCarthy doesn't mean he's going to have the same tendencies. Doesn't mean he's going to do the same things clock management wise, timeouts. Challenges, whatever, we don't know. Nobody really knows because this is the first time with this group that he's going to call this offense. So we'll see.
Boy, I agree, John. They send in super chat, so we won't have to leave. We got about
we'll get to it and then we'll get out of it because we got a dynamic show tomorrow. Well, it's Max and Mill. He's giving us more. He said Andrew Armstrong was wide receiver CD from
Pig Suey.
Yeah.
And then
Pig Suey.
And then Iceberg Q says Tober versus Cedric Wilson. Who y'all taking? I'll probably take Cedric.
I'm taking Cedric. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm taking Cedric.
I'll probably take Cedric Wilson. Thank you for the super chat, guys. Listen, we will be back tomorrow. We'll be back an hour later. Much love to all you guys for tapping in. We got 308 people. Make sure that you guys are running this back. Make sure you guys are sending this around wherever you listen to podcasts. Make sure that you guys are just tapping in. Hit the like button. John Machota, Law Nation, Attack on Cowboys.
Yeah,
another banger.
They have all the assets and resources, and we don't. But let us get on the line, boy, and see if that factors in. We do it one. Wow.
Come on.
Much love, guys. And Law, and remember,
you're listening to nothing.
I'm about to go watch Luka bust the Mavericks' ass.
Love
Come
y'all.
on,
Peace.
Luka Legend. Come on, Lakers, baby.